All right. Hey, one of the hardest things I do every morning is I look at my coffee and it's right there, and I don't drink it because I wait. It's right here. It's ready. It's warm. It's tasty. It wakes me up. What's better than coffee? Coffee and dogs. Three, two. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Monday. It's November 9th, 2020. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Oh, that came out good today. So, yeah. First off, before I forget, because I always seem to forget these things, remember tomorrow is whistlekick Live. We bumped it from last Tuesday. It's typically the first Tuesday of the month, but we bumped it because of the election. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook. And if you go to the Facebook events for whistlekick, you will see whistlekick Live Season 2, Episode 2. We are breaking them into year-long seasons, and each month is an episode. So you can check that out. We've got some new stuff that we're playing with for this time, so we're looking forward to that. And today is Monday, and it being Monday, there is an episode out. And let's see, today's episode is with, Mr. John Molyneux. It was a fun one. And yeah, check it out. Listen, enjoy. You can find it here on YouTube. You can find it in your podcast feed. You can find it at whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. We have been having some intermittent issues with that website. It got hacked a while ago, a couple months ago, and putting it back together was a nightmare. And I'm probably going to move it to a different platform at some point here soon. It's going to be a ton of work, and I'm not looking forward to it, but I'd rather do that once than risk having it attacked again. I mean, I know that it's just, as the site grows, it's just going to continue to be a target. So we'll see. And it's Monday. So, yay. Welcome. It's no longer the weekend. It was really nice out this weekend. So those of you who don't live in New England, you may not know that early November, we're typically having weather in the 40s, maybe a really nice day is in the 50s. We're putting on snow tires on our cars, and it gets cold. Well, the last 2 days have been 70 degrees during the day. At least we've hit 70. Today's supposed to be up to 73. Tomorrow up to 74. It's insane. If I didn't have a bunch of appointments and calls and meetings, I think I'd blow off the next 2 days and just ride my motorcycle. Because it's gorgeous out. I may still try to ride at some point. The problem is the sun goes down at like 4:30, and as soon as the sun goes down, it is no longer warm. It's going to go from 73 to 55 in about 90 minutes today. And then it keeps going. If you are in New England, then you know how special this is, and I hope you get a chance to get outside. I got outside quite a bit this weekend, went for a very long walk on Saturday. There's an 8-mile loop of I don't want to say an old road, but here in Vermont we call them Class 4 roads. Class 1 being like a state highway. Class 4 is, hey, there's a dirt path you can fit a car through that goes from there to there. And in some cases, the state maintains them, or the town maintains them, rather. And in many cases, they don't. This is an unmaintained Class 4 road, and I've walked it a number of times, and it's a great walk. And sometimes you see animals. And so did that, and even took a side road, a bit of a detour for a couple more miles. So walked like 10 miles on Saturday. Walked a few more miles yesterday. Did a bunch of work around the house. And you know what else I've been working on a lot? You know what I worked on Friday? You know what I worked on yesterday? A book, a novel. The first real fiction piece I've ever done. And I'm liking how it's coming out. Like everything I do. No, it's not true. like the way I should do everything. I'm doing a lot of planning. So I've already decided that this is going to be a trilogy. And that trilogy will be in a new universe. And So I'm laying out the characters for this trilogy, for this book. I created the story arc. And the big thing that I've done Friday and then I did again Sunday was I wrote a short story. You can maybe think of it as a scene in this universe using some of the characters just to help me get into them. Because I got to figure out who they are, what makes them tick, and how they work, and how they fight. Because these are important things. Right, Kat? And the first one I wrote was like 1,000 words, and the one I wrote yesterday was, I think, 1,800. And those should be going up at Marshall Journal this week. If you don't read Marshall Journal, go to marshalljournal.com. That's going to be the only place you can see these thought experiments as I work on them. I don't know when I'll start writing the actual novel. Maybe as soon as this week. I really want to have a draft done by the end of the month, and that's feeling a little too aggressive, but who knows? Who knows? If I can get into these characters really well and really knock it out, I may be able to use voice transcription. Because if you think about it, a typical novel, if you listen to it as an audiobook, which I've been doing a lot of, could be anywhere from 6 to 9 hours. Well, 6 to 9 hours of reading is maybe 10 to 12 hours of speaking, if I've got everything planned out. So I could do it. The question is, how long does that planning take? I don't know. We'll see. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to work on it, and if it doesn't come out for Christmas, then it doesn't come out for Christmas. It's okay. What else is going on today? Got a couple calls, meetings with some people, and then we'll try to get out of here. Go to Costco. Ugh. Grab some things. Go to the bank for a client. Nothing too revolutionary. Just, a normal day of work. With the windows open. Good morning, Stacy. I hope you're well. Hope you had a great weekend. Oh, you know what? I think the coffee's been so good lately. It's the Starbucks Sumatran. Oh, I get a cat on my lap now. Can you hear her purr? Sometimes she purrs so loud. Hi. You're gonna fall. Lay down. Can you lay down, please? That'd really be helpful. Stacy did a weekend of smashing things and outdoor stuff. Nice. I saw pictures and videos, rather, of you smashing things. Stacy is a member of Team Smashy Smash, and there was a virtual breaking tournament on Sunday, and it would be fun, Stacy, for you and Laura to calculate how many trees you've destroyed at this point between practice and competition, because I bet it's more than one. It's a lot of smashing going on, and it's fun to watch. Glad you do so well, but more so that you enjoy it. I've been thinking a lot about training recently and how frustrated I am personally that I'm not actively training. I don't have time to actively. That's not true. If the right opportunity came along, I would happily make room for training. But there hasn't been anything that lines everything up. Can I go train at various places? Yeah, absolutely. And I love to, and I do that periodically. But I'm feeling the itch for something new, and I think I talked about that for a few months now. I reached out to one person who I like and respect and has some skills that I certainly do not. And he never wrote me back. So I could take that personally or not, but either way, I'm not going to chase somebody to train with them. I know what it's like having me in somebody's martial arts school. I add a lot of value. If I'm going to pay to be there, and spend my time to be there and contribute my knowledge to being there. I want to at least be welcomed, not have to break down the door. But there might be something coming in the new year. I had somebody reach out to me and say that they want to train with me. And that they're going to do a little bit of traveling to come do that. And I might consider teaching. Not regular classes, not like a big formal thing, but maybe some periodic things. Got some knowledge I wouldn't mind sharing. So. Well, Stacy says, we will have results later this week. Laura rocked it. I did well. She was great. Well, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you both did at least well. Sounds like you're happy with your performance, which is important. And, you know, the thing that I think is the coolest about breaking is that it's, you know, the creative stuff aside, you can, it's objective. Breaking is really the only objective thing in martial arts. How many boards did I break? Do I want to break more boards? I got to work on something. And you have video of it, so you can look at what you got to work on. All right. And thank you to Frank for writing in with, we've got a variety here today. A variety of quotes from martialartsmedia.com. I have not heard of that website, but that sounds like a good description of what whistlekick is. Let me just say for a second, the idea of writing a book with martial arts in it is really exciting to me, because it's going to be the first thing that we've ever done that could have broad appeal outside of people who train. It is not a martial arts book. It's a novel that incorporates martial arts. The characters know martial arts, and one of the things I'm spending a lot of time on is the nuance of describing the combat. It's got to be detailed enough that martial artists can visualize it, but not so annoyingly detailed that the people who don't train read it and say, I don't get what's going on here. I don't want to spend my time reading this. So that's what's been going on. And what's been fun for me as I've been describing these fight scenes is I've kind of got to go through them. I've got to think about them. I've got to visualize. It's well, the Japanese term is bunkai. There is bunkai in the writing. And I'm sure other people have done this. I've never read a book with it though. And I think I'm having fun doing it. So maybe if I do a good job, some people will read the books and think, I want to do martial arts. That's the goal. That is the goal. Number 1. Only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. Albert Einstein. Yes. So here's my theory on genius. Einstein being a great example. When we think about the people who are often recognized as geniuses, and I'm not even going to name names, but take a moment. Think about a few people that you truly think are geniuses, the most brilliant minds at whatever their thing. What do they have in common? They see the world differently. That's how they achieved or discovered or whatever what they do. They see the world differently. Einstein, look at the pictures. His hair was messed up. He did not care about things in the same way. Come to find out, one of my clients, actually the one that I'm making the deposit for today, her grandfather was a contemporary of Einstein and has another name, another contemporary of Einstein, that, they were recruited and they came here, and her grandfather worked with them. So she was telling me stories one day, mind-blowing stories about these people. And the thing that was clear in all of them was that they see the world differently. Think about musicians that you think are utterly brilliant. They're weird. High levels of creativity tend to flame out. There's a really high drug and suicide rate among artists. Why? Because they see the world differently. And I think that that is burdensome. And I think that they do whatever they can to cope with being in a world that they see one way and everyone else sees in a different way. And so, this quote here from Einstein, only those who attempt the absurd. It's only absurd to everyone else. A lot of people would call whistlekick absurd. I don't know if they still would. In the early days, they did. They said the same thing about my computer company. Most of the things that I've done in my life, people have said were absurd. The things that I find most enjoyable, many people say are absurd. Those of you who have been watching for a while remember what I did. Maybe you remember what I did for my 40th birthday. I got as many friends together as I could, and we dressed up in inflatable dinosaur costumes, and we walked around the Capitol. Not just the building, but the city. And it was a lot of fun, and we brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. It was absurd. Here's a good one. Your spirit is the true shield. Morihei Ueshiba, sensei of Aikido. Your spirit is the true shield. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that the quality of my character, my integrity, etc., are going to protect me from, a punch. But it is the thing that protects me from the world. The world can be a rough place. There's a lot of negativity. There's hate. There's trauma. What protects you from it? Nothing. There's no physical barrier. We're not walking around in a bubble, hiding behind brick walls. What defends us? Our spirit. It's what keeps us safe, or at least sane, as we go through things. It's what allows us to step away with confidence, to feel grounded in who we are and how we are. Even when other people think that we're being absurd. If you ever lack motivation to train, then think what happens to your mind and body when you don't. Shifu Yan Lei. If you ever lack motivation to train, then think what happens to your mind and body when you don't. Now that may motivate some people. That doesn't motivate me. I don't respond well with negative motivation. Oh, I have these skills and they're deteriorating. Well, yeah, that's been happening to all of us this year. I prefer not to look at it so depressingly. What motivates me to train? The exchange of information. Either I'm giving to someone else, or they're giving to me, or ideally we're both participating. I love that. It's one of my favorite things about martial arts, the idea that we can hand things back and forth. Sometimes literally hands go back and forth. I think most of us have experienced a good deal of skill degradation this year, at least in something. I can't remember the last time I sparred. March? February? Last year? I don't know. Feels like forever ago. I'm sure the first time I go to spar with someone, I'm going to kick them in the face. That's not true. I'm sure I'm going to be really timid in sparring. And somebody may kick me in the face. Right back at you, Stacy. You have a great day as well. Enjoy. Good luck. I think the key is finding what motivates you to train. You know what motivates you. Do it. Identify your motivation. If you need external motivation, maybe it's not something you're super passionate about. I know that right now, I'm not super passionate about physically training with other people because it's compromised from the things that I really love, the things that I love the most about training, due to distancing and everything we're not doing. Doesn't mean I'm not going to train. But what would really motivate me? Something brand new. And our final one for the day. No need to fear the ill wind when your haystacks are tied down. It's an Irish proverb. Say that again. No need to fear the ill wind when your haystacks are tied down. I think that one's pretty obvious. You don't have to worry about bad things when you're prepared. And this goes back to one of my sayings. You can be underprepared or you can be over-prepared. You will never be perfectly prepared because you can't see the future. I will always choose to be over-prepared. There are so many situations where non-martial artist friends see some of the things that I do or think or observe or bring. Do you think you need that? Do you think you need to do that? Here's the best example. I prefer to face the door in a restaurant, unless I'm with a bunch of martial artists who I know are also watching the door. Then I'll let my guard down. So I went out to dinner with a friend on Saturday, and we reprised our visit to Applebee's and crushing Applebee's trivia nationally. It's a good time. He's a martial artist. I know if he has his face to the door, I don't have to worry. But if I go out with non-martial artists, and if it's somebody I know well enough and they try to take the seat facing the door and I know they're not going to watch, I'll say something. Hey, I'd be more comfortable if you let me sit there so I can watch the door. Do you think something's going to happen? If I thought something was going to happen, we wouldn't be here. Or at least I wouldn't be here. But I know you're not going to be observing the door in the way I am. So I think it makes more sense for all of us. Might as well be prepared. You never know what something bad's going to happen. You can be underprepared or overprepared. You will never be perfectly prepared. I will always choose to be overprepared. With training, with life. Yeah. All right. It's a good one. It's a good one to end on. I appreciate your quotes today, Frank. Thank you. To those of you watching, if you have quotes or comments or questions, let's mix it up. I like mixing it up. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Drop stuff in the comment section below once the show closes. If you want to support the work that we do here, you got a few things. You can support the Patreon that we've got going, patreon.com/whistlekick, or you can make a purchase at whistlekick.com. Use code FIRSTCUP15. I had to think about how we did that for a second. All right. I'll see you back here tomorrow. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, right here on YouTube. Go check out the Monday episode of Martial Arts Radio with John Molyneux and set your clocks or calendars or whatever you're going to use for tomorrow's episode of Whistlekick Live at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern on Facebook. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.